Hi guys, Namaste. So I just wanted to bring you to a little class about back pain. So I've had a lot of people saying they're going through quite a lot of back pain, especially lower back pain at the moment. One of the reasons obviously could be that we're just not moving around as much during this lockdown phase. So even if we used to exercise, regularly, maybe our drive's gone, we're just feeling a bit slumped. So, and the other reason obviously is because we're probably quite tense. A lot of our tension just comes into our lower back. Stress, worry, whatever it is we're holding. So I'm also going to be doing a hip opening class, which is very good for releasing any blockages, emotional blockages. So look out for that one as well. But this one is focused to lower back pain. So it's just a short flow. You could do it first thing in the morning. But if you are suffering from any lower back pain, I would definitely encourage you to try at least some of these postures every day. Because it needs to be consistent, especially with back pain. You need to be on it and be consistent with moving around. So these are just a few postures. We're going to gently combine them together. It's not going to be like a flow class, it's just going to be just a gentle few postures, one to the other. So you can pluck out what works for you and what doesn't. So first of all, if you just gently bring yourself to a cross-legged position or legs out in front, and as always, just close the eyes or take the gaze down. And just take a few minutes here, just to take a few deep breaths. So big inhale through the nose, expand the belly. And open the mouth, exhale, let everything go. Inhale again. Exhale with a sigh. Inhale. And exhale. And just roll the shoulders a few times. Just nice and slow. And then rolling the other way. And then just taking the head gently side to side. Just rolling through, so not doing full circles, just rolling from one direction to the other. Just working out through any kinks in the neck, the shoulders. And then bringing ourselves over to tabletop. So in most of my flows, we will include cat-cow in our postures, but honestly, I can't emphasize enough, this is such a good movement for all of your back, especially into your lower back. So I do this every morning. I actually do every single morning. Literally the first thing I do when I wake up is roll through the hips and then move into some cat and cows. So if you do this every morning, it will just be so good for you. So just making sure you've got the right alignment. Spread through the fingers, and you want your middle finger facing the top of the mat. Your hands are pressing down into the mat and are under your elbows and your shoulders. So get that alignment correct. So you don't want to put any tension into the wrists by shuffling too far forward. And then your knees are directly under your hips. So again, making sure you've got the alignment correct and just pressing through the tops of your feet. So first of all, just draw the navel in slightly. And it's difficult to do, so if you do this in front of the mirror a few times, because sometimes when you think that you're straight, you might be rolling or rounding through the back. So it takes a bit of practice, but once you've done it a few times, or done it in front of the mirror, you'll get a bit more aware. So navel lifts in slightly and feel a gentle shift through the hips. So I'm just going to exaggerate the movement for you. So if I just let everything go, obviously I'm just going to dip in the spine, but if you draw the navel in, and then you're just feeling a gentle shift, so you kind of sink back slightly into the hips. So let everything go, draw the navel in, and then shift yourself back into the hips. So you're just, again, getting that alignment nice and correct. And then as you inhale, drop the navel, so you're dropping the belly and looking forward. So don't take the head up too far, just look forward. So my curve in my spine is quite deep, but obviously that's not for everyone. It's just I've got quite a hollow back. So just go as far as is comfortable, making sure your toes aren't lifting off the floor and your tops of your feet are in the floor and your arms are strong. So don't cave into the shoulders. You want to create space in the shoulders by gently bringing the chest forward. So imagine you're bringing the chest through the hands and gazing there. On an exhale, draw the navel in, chin towards the chest, and again press through the hands. Bring the chin as close to the chest as you can, pressing through the hands, creating space in the shoulders. Inhale, rotate through. Exhale. And then just doing a few of these with your own breath. So really slow it down if you can. And then come back to center. And you're just going to rotate through the hips or make any movements you feel you need to. Just making sure you go both ways. And then start to sink yourself back to the heels, take the arms out long, bring the forehead to the floor, and just rotate through the forehead. Again, soften through the shoulders. Couple of deep breaths. And then inhale as you come back to center. So we're going to come up onto our heels into yogi squat. So this is one that can be quite challenging. If you have a block, you can just sit yourself on the block. Just make sure it doesn't topple over. I've had that happen before. And then just bring your feet to the floor and your knees are out wide. If you don't need a block, just again shuffle through the hips, loosen them up, bring your hands down so you're just kind of in a froggy pose to start with. And then bring your hands to the heart center. So what you're trying to avoid is the rounding of the spine. So you don't want this to happen. You want to be able to lift up. So as soon as you lift up, imagine you're sitting yourself on a little block underneath, if you've got one, if you haven't. And take the tailbone, root yourself through the floor. So again, it takes practice. You might find that you are on your tiptoes and that's fine. So you might be here. Just making sure that your elbows are pressing into your legs, your inner thighs, and maybe just taking them a little bit wider. So coming here, drawing the hands to the heart space. And then just close the eyes. Sit yourself here for a few breaths. Maybe just rocking gently back and forth. And then just lowering the hands, taking your left hand over to the right leg, just taking it around the front of the lower leg, just above the ankle. And then what you're going to do is just inhale, draw the left hand or the left shoulder towards the knee, and then open up just as far as you can up towards the sky. So you're going to feel a stretch coming all the way through the side of the body. Try not to lean forward into the stretch. Just go wherever is comfortable. As you exhale, come down, swap sides. So grabbing hold of the front of your leg. Inhale, reach up. Your gaze can come up or you can just look at the floor. Whatever's more comfortable. Come down. Inhale it again, reach. Exhale down. Inhale, reach up. Exhale down. One more time. Inhale, reach. Exhale down. Inhale, reach. And then exhale, hands come back to the heart space. Couple of breaths here. If this is coming too much, just feel free to come down or sit yourself on a block. And then take your arms up, reach them up, create space in the shoulders, and then slowly soften yourself down to the floor, crossing the legs. So either just crossing the legs in your normal cross-legged position or just taking one foot in front of the other. If your knees are uncomfortable in this position, if you find them hovering and your attention goes to knees because they're feeling a little bit uncomfortable, you can just place a block or one block underneath each knee, and just straight away that will take any distractions in the knees away. Or if you're uncomfortable with your sit bones on the floor, you can just place a block underneath you. So we're just going to take a few twists. So again, just taking the opposite hand to the opposite knee, pressing the hand into the knee, keep the hands spread, and then inhale, take the other arm up, and as you exhale, open out to the back. So you're bringing your hand behind your back. So ideally, your whole hand will come to the floor or just on your fingertips. If this is uncomfortable, you can place a block. So what you're aiming to do is not sink down into your spine. You want to be lifted through the spine. So whatever is more comfortable, creaky floor, that's where you want to be. So either on your fingertips or palms to the floor. Take your gaze forward again and inhale as you lift and lengthen. Press the sit bones into the floor. Make sure the knees don't rise up. And on your exhale, use your hand that is on your leg to twist and press gently round. So go with awareness, don't go too far, but making sure you're not just hanging out there, chilling. Just come into the twist. Keep the length. So on your inhale, you're going to lift and lengthen. And on the exhale, you're going to twist a little more, if it's successful for you. Wherever your edge is, stay there and breathe. Keeping that length from the sit bones all the way up to the crown of the head. One more breath. And then exhale, release, come all the way back round. Opposite hand to the opposite thigh. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, open out through the chest, the shoulder, bringing a hand to the floor. Again, make any adjustments you need to. Take the gaze forward. Find a length in the spine. Inhale. And as you exhale, gently twist. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, twist. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Press on the sit bones into the floor. Don't let the knees rise. Exhale, twist. One more breath there. And then exhale, come all the way back to center. Just start to rotate through just a couple of times. So just bringing the chest down towards the knee, rocking forward, coming up. Just a couple of times to release any tension. And then bring your feet into your butterfly pose. So again, if your knees are lifted slightly, place the blocks underneath them. You're going to wrap your hands around your feet. So you can either bring your legs into a diamond shape or in towards the body. And just shuffle through the legs, let them loosen up, let the hips loosen up. Take an inhale as you press the sit bones down, lift and lengthen. And as you exhale, the elbows are going to come out to the side and press into the legs. And you're just going to gently come forward. So keeping length in the spine, going wherever is comfortable. Inhale, lift and lengthen. As you inhale, just imagine the length coming right the way through the crown of the head. Drawing the navel in, so don't let the belly just completely flop, because that will just not allow the space for you to fold. And on the exhale, coming down a little bit deeper wherever is comfortable. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lift and lengthen. If you need a block, you can always place a block on the floor. Bring your forehead to the block, whichever way is comfortable. And then staying there for a few breaths, working with the breath, deep inhales, deep exhales. So again, meet your edge, don't push past your edge, the point where you feel that if you go any further, there's alarm bells ringing in the head, so don't go past that point leading to injury. Go with awareness. Deep breath. And then on the inhale, press through the hands and the feet and slowly come all the way back up. Bring your legs together using your hands, and we're just going to shuffle to our backs. So slowly bring yourself down, pull your knees into your chest, have a few rocks, and again this one is brilliant first thing in the morning. Maybe not in the bed, well it still works in the bed, but if you can get a surface where you can really feel the massage happening, so on your mat on the floor, it's a brilliant one for the back. So staying with your deep breaths. And then taking the legs up, we're going to come into happy baby pose. So you want to use your two-piece finger, so your index finger and your middle finger, to wrap around the big toe. If that's not accessible, just grab hold of below the ankles. And rather than just letting everything go, a lot of people come to this and they just let everything go, which is still great, it feels really nice. You're going to tend to bring the knees, or aim to bring the knees towards the armpits. So you're taking the arms out wide, drawing the knees down towards the armpits, and then rocking there. A few breaths again, feel the massaging through the spine. This is also a brilliant hip opener. If you've done a hip opening sequence, this is a great way to end it. And just a few deep breaths. And then just let the legs pull again together. Maybe bring your nose up towards your knees. Have a squeeze, wrap the arms all around the legs. Coming all the way back down, and you're going to take your left leg, your left foot over your right leg. So your left foot is sitting on the right top of the right thigh. Bend the right leg so you're level, and then wrap the hands. So one hand comes in that gap, the other arm comes behind, and just gently draw the legs in. So you're getting a stretch through the thighs, but this is also really nice for the back. So just draw everything in. Again, don't go too far, stay wherever is your edge. Working with the breath, so deep inhales, deep exhales. And then swapping over, so right leg comes over the left thigh. Bring the hands through. If you can grab hold of the wrist, so my right hand is grabbing hold of my left wrist, then do so. Otherwise, just bring the hands behind the thigh. Deep inhales, deep exhales. Gently draw everything in. Deep breaths. And just rocking side to side as you stretch, and then letting that go. Pull the knees in just one more time, nose to knees. Bring yourself back down. So this time you're going to take your arms out into a T shape. So stretching the arms, bringing the palms into the floor, making sure your shoulders also don't rise up. So you want your shoulders to come to the floor. Bring your legs back to the position you had before. So just level your lower legs. And you're just going to gently take your knees over to the right side. So slowly, slowly, if you start to notice the left shoulder lifting off the floor, try and draw it down. And if you really can't draw it down, just lift the knees up a little bit. Again, if you want a block, you can place a block under your knees if you find them hovering. So if you feel tension in your lower back because your knees are hovering, please put something under to release them. And then staying there and then gazing towards your left fingertip. So you should feel this in your lower back. You'll probably feel it in your mid back as well. You can even draw the hand onto the thigh. Just staying there for a couple of breaths. Deep inhales, deep exhales. And then bring the head back to centre, hands to the floor. Press through the palms as you lift your legs back to centre. And then this time drawing them all the way over to the left, nice and slow. Making sure the shoulders stay in contact with the floor. Use support for your knees if you need it. Taking your gaze to your right fingers. And staying there for a few breaths. Should feel really nice. If you're feeling really uncomfortable, just come up, back to center. And then bring the head to center, draw the knees in again, knees, nose to knees. Pull everything in. And then gently release down, bringing the legs to the floor. So we're going to come into some bridge pose variations. So there's one that's quite a deep pose. So again, it totally depends on where you are. And we're just going to come into the normal bridge pose. So drawing your feet up, your hands, your fingers want to be able to tickle the backs of your heels. Again, you can use a block. If you find that in this pose your knees tend to flare out to the side or drop in, a block is really good to just place there because it just brings a bit of awareness. So you're squeezing the block at the same time, making sure your legs stay in the right place. Otherwise, just bring your hands to the floor. Take a few moments to make sure that your navel is drawing in towards the spine and that your whole spine is in contact with the floor. So if you've got a hollow back, like me, it takes a little bit of a conscious effort. You might have to shuffle through the shoulders as well a few times, making sure the whole spine is in contact with the floor. And then take an inhale, slowly lift your hips off the floor, keeping your head in contact with the floor, coming up a little bit less than what you can go and staying there. Holding, again, not letting everything just drop, press through your feet, your hands. And then exhale as you come down nice and slow. Let everything come down to the floor. On a next inhale, lift up again. Maybe come a little bit deeper. And even draw the hands underneath you. Shuffle the shoulders underneath. Take your hair out. Forgot to say that. And really lift up through your chest this time. Staying there for a few breaths, making sure your knees aren't buckling in or coming out. The other variation to this, if you want to, it's quite a deep back bend, is to bring your hands to your lower back. So you're then resting on your upper arms. You want to get to the point where you feel that you can gently lift the head. We're not going to do that, but you want to feel like you can. And this is quite a nice bend into the back, but it might be inaccessible. So just go with awareness and staying there. If you need to lower at any point, please feel free to do so. And then release the hands, bring them all the way back to the floor and slowly, slowly coming all the way back down. Pull the knees into the chest and have a gentle rock. And then you're just going to rock yourself all the way up to a seated position. So if you need to take a couple of rocks, it's quite nice to do so. All the way up. Back to seated. And just we're going to come into a fold before we end. So taking the legs out long. So bring yourself into your Dandasana to start with. So you want length in the spine. Your sit bones are pressed into the floor. And draw your hands down to the floor. Some people need to use a block because they've got particularly long arms, but you want your arms to be nice and straight. So you're flaring through the toes. Your toes are pointing up to the ceiling. Again, draw the navel in, create that lifting and that hollowing out. Staying there for a few breaths. So this isn't just a chilling out pose, we're actually working here. So you should start to feel a little bit of a tremble coming through your thighs. Gaze is forward. Keep the activation through the feet. And then gently release. So staying lifted in the spine, take an inhale and rise the arms up. Imagine you're holding a giant beach ball, so you're creating space through the shoulders, reaching up, spreading through the hands. Inhale here, keeping the navel drawn in and lifted. As you exhale, slowly come forward, just a small distance. Maybe have a few shuffles, making sure that your sit bones are still in the floor. Reach forward, take the gaze down. Inhale, look forward towards the fingertips. Gently come down a little bit further. Let the navel stay towards the spine. Shoulders relaxed. Gaze at your fingertips. hold there. Inhale, reach forward again, and then exhale, see what you can grab hold of, maybe the calves, the ankles, the back of the feet, the big toe. So wherever you are, stay there, have a gentle shuffle, making sure that you're not just being tempted to drop the head. So you want to gaze forward, draw the navel in. Imagine you're kind of lifting and projecting yourself forward. Inhale here, try not to let tension build up in the shoulders, and exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale and exhale. And staying where you are for just a few more breaths. And then inhale, come all the way up nice and slow. Bring the feet in towards you. Bring yourself into a cross-legged position. And again, just shuffle through side to side, taking a few little movements. And then come to stillness. So making sure you're still bringing that length in the spine. Let your hands just rest, palms facing up. Every inhale you take, imagine the breath coming all the way up, right to the crown of the head and lifting you through the crown. Every exhale, the navel draws towards the spine and you just ground down, rooting through the sit bones. And then on your next inhale, I just invite you to bring the hands to the heart space. And then just drawing the thumbs to the chest, connecting with the heart space. And as always, just give yourself some gratitude for just showing up, doing whatever practice